Hey, I'm Renny Doyle, and as a professional detailer or a serious enthusiast, some of the most expensive items we have is our toweling and our pads. Well, Team P&S has teamed up with the Rag Company, and we've got a new product that I want to share with you, Rags to Riches. Now, Rags to Riches was developed as a microfiber deep cleanser. Safe for microfibers, but we found out a couple more things. Not only will it take and clean your microfibers, it's going to strip those microfibers. We've got a little way that we're going to teach you on to strip those microfibers and get all that hydrophobic product out of there. And also, guess what? I'm using it as a pad cleaner. So hey, come on over, let's check it out. So the first thing we're going to use Rags to Riches on is cleaning towels. Now, we don't want to take and make too large of a load. Make it realistic. Shut it up, let's go. So the next thing I'm going to do is decide how much product we're going to use. Now, what I usually use on really clean loads are towels that aren't too soiled. I'm just going to use 1 fluid ounce. Now, on heavier loads or something that's really dirty, I'm going to go ahead and go up to 2 ounces. Now, if you've got something that's really dirty, really caked on compound, you can go ahead and go up to 3 ounces. But usually 2 ounces is going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and pour in to the soap container here on my washer. Now I'm going to go ahead and again choose my settings. I'm going to go ahead and power up. I'm going to go normal, casual, come over, go cold, cold, and start my load. All right, my towels are all washed. We're going to go ahead and take and throw all of them into the dryer. The setting on the dryer is going to be really important. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and again, I like to come into either casual or normal. In this case, I didn't do a large load, so I'm going to go ahead and take and just do casual, and I'm going to go low heat. I'm going to go and start, and we're going to let our towels dry. All right, our towels are all done, so we're going to come in, take them out. They're nice and dry. They smell really fresh. They feel good, and so now let's go ahead and show you how to strip some towels. All right, so modern day towels with all the spray protectants like Bead Maker these days, they really have a tendency of loading up and getting very hydrophobic. And a lot of people think that you need to throw your towels away. So what we're going to do is what we call a stripping process using Rag to Riches. Now, the tools you're going to need is going to be a bucket with a grit guard and clean water in the bottom, and then also a spare grit guard. I'm going to go ahead and add anywhere from 2 to 3 ounces of Rags to Riches into the bucket. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and go 3 ounces. Once I have Rags to Riches into the bucket, I'm going to go ahead and proceed to take and put my towels down into the bucket 3 or 4 at a time. Now, once I get 3 or 4 towels in, I'm going to take and use the grit guard upside down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pancake this into the water, and I'm going to kind of scrub. Now, what they're doing is against the bottom grit guard is they're just going in there and they're absorbing the water and they're absorbing the Rags to Riches. I'm going to go ahead and do this again with the remaining towels, just repeating what I did before. Now I'm going to go ahead and let the solution with the grit guard on top. Now remind you, we've got a grit guard on the bottom also. I'm going to let this solution sit for anywhere from 2 hours to overnight before I take and strip them. So how I'm going to strip the towels is I'm going to come in and just start pulling the towels through my hand, nice and even, and just squeezing the water and therefore all the product out of the towels. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 ounces of Rags to Riches to the main wash. All right, so my towels are done. I'm going to go ahead and throw them into the dryer to get them dried. And then it's really important to set the settings the right way. So I'm going to come into my settings, and again, just a reminder, I'm going to go to casual or delicate. Either one, depending on how big of a load or how small of a load. Now in this case, I've got a very small load, so I'm going to go ahead and go over to delicate and get them going. All right, my towels are all done, and as you can see, they are really clean. They really fluffed it up. They're light. They smell really nice. They're just super, super, like brand new. So there you go. That's how you strip your towels. So one of the most exciting things about Rags to Riches for me is not only is it great on towels, but we found out it's great on pads. So let's go over on how to use your pads. Now, first off, some of the tools you're going to need is naturally you're going to need rags to riches. Then you're going to need a clean bucket of cold water. You don't want to use warm because it will take and misshape the pads. You want to use cold water. I've got a grit guard down to the bottom, and then again, I want a spare grit guard. Now, this is a great trick no matter what. You can be using wool pads, or you can take and actually use foam pads. Now, the most important thing to remember is that separate them. So do not take and mix over. Just wash all of the compound pads with the compound pads. Use the polishing pads for polish, and then use any of your finishing products. Wash them all separately, and never, again, never take and mix up microfiber pads with wool pads with foam pads. Wash them all separately. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to take and measure out the proper amount of product. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 fluid ounces. So I'm going to go all the way to the top and dump it into my 5-gallon bucket. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and mix that in there a little bit with my grit guard. Again, I've got a grit guard in the bottom just to keep the pads from touching. Now, if you're taking and mixing different sizes, I like to put the small ones face down first, and then I put a tier of 3 pads upside down, 3 at a time, with a small on the bottom. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and I'm going to put pressure on the grit guard in the bottom, utilizing the grit guard on top. Then I'm going to repeat and put 3 in at a time. And again, a maximum of about 12 pads is the most I do. So I'm going to come in here and twist these. I'm going to agitate them lightly. And I'm going to leave these soak for about 2 hours. Now, I never leave them soak overnight because you don't want to delaminate it. So about 2 hours is the perfect time on soil pads, 20 minutes to 30 minutes on lightly soil pads. All right, so my pads have soaked for a couple hours. So they're ready to wash now. So what I'm going to do is you never want to take and wring or twist your pads because it will break the pad down. So what I like to do is I like to just taco it and just gently squeeze, or just go around a circular motion, squeezing the excess product out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add my rags to riches into the wash cycle. I'm going to come in, my pads are in there, they're all tidied up. I'm going to take and pour my rags to riches into the main wash. There we go. And again, the all-important selection of how you're going to wash these. Now again, really important, you come over here, I'm going to go to cold, cold. And then again, you can go to normal, casual. That's the best option. Now, if you're going to take, and if you're a little concerned about it, you can always take and go to the gentle cycle. And you can do that or the express wash right here. But you know what? In general, I really like the normal cycle. All right, so my pads are all washed. So now what I'm going to do is put them in the dryer. Now, again, I really like delicate or casual, either one. Now, this is a very small load. They're wool. So my selection here is going to be delicate, and that's going to do a great job of just taking and finishing up the pads. All right, so my pads are done, and I've come through and gotten them out. And I'm just going to take and show them to you real quick. As you can see, there's still coloration on this from product and so forth, but there is absolutely no dust, and you can see that the pattern's nice and clean. It's not clogged up. And I'll tell you what, this has really reduced the cost and the number of pads that we use overall. Hey, thanks for watching this video on rags to riches. So I think you're going to really enjoy the product. So take care, everybody. Happy detailing, and we'll see you next time.